Happy New Year's Eve. I cannot believe it. One more day and we are entering into 2019. I'm starting to love the New Year's Eve because I love the fact that there's new beginnings. I know that with God, there's always a new beginning. There's second chances and new opportunities, and whatever you dreamt to do, you could do it. It's like literally getting your journal out and just start writing a new chapter in the book of your life and start fresh. And so I can go on and on. But as you can tell, I love the New Year's Eve. But I want to go ahead and just jump into the Word. And what I strongly felt to bring is because I noticed here in the last 2 weeks I've seen something that I've seen on social media. They say new year, new friends, check the haters, diss the fake friends. And I know that a lot of us struggle in that area. And hard to believe, yes, I've been asked this myself. And I'm 42 years old, and I've seen people walk in and walk out of my life. And what I have actually learned is that it does not matter who we are, what background we come from. We all want to be loved and accepted. I don't care how mean you are, or how nice you are, or how rich you are, or how poor you are. You want to be loved and accepted. And if anybody in this world wants to correct me and tell me that I'm wrong, prove it to me. Because I know that you want to be loved and accepted. What I've learned in the past several years in my life, I'm just going to go back like 8 years. I don't want to go all, forever and ever. But the last 8 years, something happened in my life where it was, I was broken. When I'm talking about pieces of my heart were ripped apart, I really enjoyed a relationship between this person and and I really liked her a lot. And so she actually came to a conclusion that God had told her that she needed to depart from me. And honestly, to this day, I don't understand how that happened, but I have to believe and trust God that He was in control. And so it was very crushing. What I realized that I did is that I started sharing it with my close friends and my friends. When I just felt like, well, they asked me, I'll tell them, kind of thing. But throughout the years, I noticed that I would always run to my friends and my close friends when it came to some drama with friendships. And I don't care who you are, especially being Hispanic, being a woman, a Latina woman, we like novelas and there's a lot of drama. We like the chisme. I don't care how Christian you are, how holy and sanctified you are, you like chisme. That means gossip, by the way. And it's funny because, they say, we're not supposed to be gossiping. And that's a whole different new thing. I want to go on with this message. But I found myself, sharing this with my close friends. And then I noticed that I started eating off of Diana, diss them. They weren't, you're really your friends, and they don't know you like we know you. We have your back, and, you have a heart of gold. And so I started noticing that they were picking up offenses, and how what God was showing me is that was sin. Like, they had lost respect for this person. They didn't think any highly of this person anymore because of how they did me wrong. So then, fast forward 4 years ago, I decided to just really share with my bestest friends. Like, not everybody needs to know. Like, I don't want people to think I'm crazy, or I'm, like I'm this gossiper, or that I really like the chisme. But I'm going to just share with my closest friend and tell them how I feel. I just want to vent. They were my to-go vent kind of thing. And so then I felt like, again, my closest friends started losing their respect for whoever was involved. And I noticed that I was not protecting this other person. And so then God started really showing me and tugging at my heart and allowing me to see. And I have to fast forward into here recently, where a few people walked out of my life, and one of them, not to say they completely walked out, but I know they checked out. Like, one of them really, I felt like she really checked out, and doesn't want to say it. And so here I am. I would run, to my bestest friends, and I would tell them of the situation that just happened recently. But I strongly felt like God was telling me, Donna, cry out to me. Come share with me. Come bring it to me. And I started thinking about the story of David and Jonathan in the Bible. It clearly came to mind. I started reading on it and how this relationship, this friendship, this bond that they had was real, was genuine. It was soft and soft spoken, and there was life. They spoke so much life. And I really started thinking, David, when God was saying, to me, come run to me, come cry out to me, I really thought about David. And I'm telling you, David is one of my favorite stories in the Bible. I preach a lot on David. And, David wrote almost 73 books, 76 books of the book of Psalms, where he cried out to God. If it was, battlefields, if it was hardships, if it was his enemies after him, if it was whatever it was sin, he cried out to God every single time. And, I think about Jonathan and David, how you can go back and read 1 Samuel, starting, I believe, in chapter 20. And it's an incredible story of, here's Saul. He's the king, appointed king at the time. And of course, David was the anointed king that was supposed to come after Saul. And Jonathan, here's the son of Saul's. And God gave David favor with Jonathan. And I strongly believe that God really just gave him his spiritual eyesight and just softened up his heart to see David of who he was. He started, I believe that he really just kind of sat back and said, if David really wanted to, he could kill my father. When he attended the sheep, there was a bear and a lion. He would end them, when they would get close to his sheep. He confronted Goliath as a young boy. Like, honestly, he's a true gladiator. If he really wanted to kill my father, he would, with his bare hands. And then the crazy thing about it, I'm thinking like Jonathan right now. The crazy thing about it, that the fact that every time I talk to him, have a conversation with him, he has no death out of his mouth about my father. He has nothing bad to say about him. Knowing that he's fled and he's in the wilderness and he has hid for 20 years because Saul was out to kill him. And he still respected who my father was. And so I strongly feel like David, that's why David was a man after God's own heart, because he didn't speak death over his brother. He spoke life in spite of being an enemy out to kill him. And I've learned so much. I've learned through this story and how genuine and true this friendship was. David knew the Father's heart and he ran after it. God is a jealous God. Friendships are there to fulfill certain things in your life. Friendships, he knew that friendships were not to be replaced by God. Friendships played a role, but not to be used to lead the main role. Only God is the main role. I made up my mind to accept my friendship strengths as I made up my mind to accept their weaknesses, their flaws. And I'm going to continue to remind myself that they're not there to fulfill what only God can come and fulfill. And I when I come into a confrontation with one of them, is run to God, cry out to Him, just like King David did. Honestly, I want to go into 2019 to honestly be a woman and be after God's own heart. And that's what true friendship is all about. So anyways, have a happy new year. May God meet you where you're at. And know it's not too late. He wants you just the way you are, and He will meet you where you're at. Have a blessed, happy new year, and we'll see you next time. God bless.